What if today you woke up and decided, no matter what happened yesterday, that nothing could stop you? Not fear, not failure, not circumstances, not opinions. What if you walked through life as if you were already unstoppable? Not because life is perfect, but because your mind is made up. That's the secret when you act as if nothing stops you. The universe begins to move mountains you once thought were impossible. Success doesn't start when things get easy. It begins when you decide to act like the outcome is already yours. When you carry yourself with the certainty of someone destined for greatness. When you move with the belief that every step you take is leading you closer to your dream. Because the truth is, life responds to the energy you send out, and when your attitude says, "I can't be stopped," your reality begins to follow suit. Everything begins in the mind. Everything. Before a single step is taken, before a word is spoken, before any success is made real in the world, it is first born in the secret chamber of thought. This is where the journey starts, not with action, not with resources, but with belief. And not ordinary belief, not casual wishing, but with a fierce, immovable, unshakable faith. The kind of faith that exists without proof, the kind that breathes life into dreams that seem far from reach. Faith is the substance of all success, and without it, no ambition can ever rise beyond the limits of the physical world. To act as if nothing can stop you, you must first think as if nothing can stop you, and thinking that way requires complete and undivided faith. Faith is more than a feeling. It is the internal commitment to a vision before it appears. It is walking through closed doors as if they are already open. It is moving toward a future that hasn't happened yet with the same confidence as if it had already arrived. That kind of mental certainty creates invisible forces. It shifts your vibration. It energizes your body. It transforms doubt into direction. It inspires others to follow your lead. Even when they don't yet understand the source of your certainty, faith is magnetic. It pulls the unseen into the seen, the imagined into the real. And you must hold on to it with all your strength, especially when the world tries to convince you otherwise. Every great success story begins with someone who dared to believe when it was easier to quit. The road to any form of greatness is paved with discouragement, setbacks, and temporary defeat. But those who act as if nothing can stop them do so not because the road is easy, but because their faith is bigger than their fear. They don't wait for signs. They don't beg for certainty. They create it. They carry with them the picture of the life they want, so vividly imagined and so emotionally embraced, that they move through doubt without hesitation. Faith is their shield, their fire. It's what turns resistance into resilience and turns pain into power. When you wake up each day and declare that you will not be stopped, you're doing more than speaking positive words. You are commanding the inner world to respond with alignment. You are declaring war on the parts of you that once whispered limitations. You are affirming a new standard of thinking, and faith is the foundation of that standard. It tells you to keep going when the facts don't look good. It tells you to keep building even when the foundation cracks. It gives you the strength to act when logic says wait. Faith speaks louder than circumstances. It sees beyond appearances. It knows that what's happening now is just a snapshot, not the full story. And here's the secret: the world doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you expect. And expectation is born from faith. If you expect to win, even when you're losing, life starts aligning to prove you right. That's how it works. Thoughts become beliefs. Beliefs become emotions. Emotions become actions. Actions become results. But it all starts in the mind. To move as if nothing stops you, you must first think as if everything is working in your favor. Even the delays. Even the failures. Because someone who has faith knows that failure is never final. It's just feedback, a lesson, a signpost, a redirection. You don't need to see the entire path. You only need to believe the destination is real. People often wait for proof before they act, but that's not how success is built. Success requires faith first, results second. You don't believe because you've succeeded. You succeed because you believed. The invisible always comes before the visible. And when you understand that truth, you'll stop needing external confirmation. You'll stop seeking permission. You'll move forward with boldness, because you've already decided within yourself that nothing can stop you. Now, while faith is the fuel, purpose is the compass. You cannot act with certainty if you don't know where you're going. And so many drift through life not because they lack talent, but because they lack direction. They go from job to job, dream to dream, hoping something outside of them will give them clarity. But clarity doesn't come from waiting. It comes from choosing. You must decide what you want with such definiteness that your entire being begins to focus like a laser on making it real. Definiteness of purpose is not optional. It is essential, because without it, the mind wanders. It becomes distracted. It falls prey to the opinions of others and the noise of the world. But when you define your purpose, truly define it, everything else begins to organize around that central aim. You stop wasting time. You stop chasing things that don't matter. You stop saying yes to what doesn't serve you. Your energy becomes more potent, more powerful, more precise. And with that kind of focused intensity, you become a force of nature. You're no longer moved by emotion alone, but by mission. You begin each day with intention. You make decisions based on where you're going, not where you've been. That's what it means to act as if nothing stops you. It means you are no longer scattered. You are aligned. You are directed. You are aimed like an arrow at a definite goal, and every thought, every step, every action is in harmony with that aim. The people who shape the world are not the ones who do the most. They are the ones who do what matters most. They have a central aim so clear, so deeply embedded in their hearts, that every action becomes a part of that purpose. Even their rest has intention. Even their silence has strategy. They are not busy for the sake of being busy. They are builders of a definite future, and that kind of definiteness gives rise to boldness. When you know your mission, you walk differently. You speak with more power. You become less shaken by opposition, because you are not wondering. You are not hoping. You are knowing. You are building with vision. And vision backed by purpose is unstoppable. When you combine faith with purpose, you create a mental chemistry that transforms your entire reality. You begin to attract opportunities that once seemed distant. You notice people who align with your journey. You feel momentum building, not from luck, but from the law of cause and effect. You are causing your life to change, one belief, one decision, one purposeful act at a time. And this momentum isn't fragile. It's forged by the fire of inner conviction. You are no longer available for mediocrity. You no longer entertain excuses. You are no longer held hostage by fear, because you have a purpose that pulls you and a faith that pushes you. Everything in life becomes easier when you know what you want. Not easy in effort, but easy in decision. You no longer need to overthink, second guess, or delay. The clarity of purpose removes doubt. The strength of faith removes fear. And when both are active, you begin to move through life like a champion. You're not pretending. You're not faking it. You're embodying the truth of who you were always meant to be. You're no longer waiting to feel ready. You're deciding to be ready. You're no longer reacting to life. You're creating it. One bold move at a time. The world may not understand you. That's okay. Most people don't understand the fire inside those who act as if nothing can stop them. But you don't need their understanding. You don't need their validation. You only need your own decision, your own faith, your own purpose. And once you lock into that combination, you become the kind of person who is no longer influenced by circumstances. You influence, follow trends. You set them. You don't need motivation. You are motivation. Your example becomes the message. Your actions become the sermon. Your life becomes the proof that once a person decides to live with faith and purpose, nothing, absolutely nothing, can stand in their way. Every single word you whisper to yourself matters more than the world will ever know. You speak your future into existence not by shouting into the world, but by repeating it to your subconscious until it becomes your identity. The inner dialogue you entertain isn't just noise, it's programming. Your mind is a fertile field and your words are the seeds. If you speak faith, you plant strength. If you speak fear, you grow hesitation. And if you want to act as if nothing stops you, you must start speaking as if everything is already working in your favor. The power to transform lies not in what the world says about you, but in what you say to yourself when the world is silent. Each day is a battle between suggestion and self-command. From the moment you wake up, suggestions from media, people, the past, and fear try to hijack your thinking. But the strongest minds are not shaped by outside influence. They are built from the inside out. Autosuggestion is not just a technique. It is a discipline. A way to consciously train your mind to accept only the thoughts that serve your definite purpose. When you repeat something to yourself with emotion and repetition, your subconscious mind does not question it. It receives the command. It takes it in. It begins to create new instructions for your behavior. And in time, your life begins to reflect your words, not your worries. Most people speak about what they don't want. They describe problems. They reinforce limitations. They tell themselves stories of pain, struggle, lack, and loss. And then they live inside those stories. But the few who rise above, The ones who walk through life like giants speak only of their vision. They program their mind like an engineer programs a machine, with intent, with accuracy, with repetition. They choose words that align with power, not weakness, with action, not hesitation, with certainty, not confusion. They speak their goals aloud as if they were already achieved until the mind accepts no other outcome. This is not illusion. It's creation. What you repeat with feeling, you begin to believe. What you believe, you begin to act on. What you act on becomes habit. And what becomes habit becomes destiny. So if you want to become unstoppable, you must start by mastering your inner script. You must become the author of your thoughts. Don't wait for confidence. Command it. Don't wait for motivation. Speak it. Don't wait to feel like a winner. Tell yourself you already are one. And do it every single day with intensity, with belief, and with unwavering commitment. You must imagine that your mind is a factory and every word you feed it becomes the blueprint. The architect of success does not allow random instruction. Every phrase must be intentional. Every statement must point toward the vision. No idle talk, no casual doubt, just constant reinforcement of who you are becoming. When you say to yourself, I am powerful, I am focused, I am building my dream, I will not quit, you are doing far more than talking. You are installing belief. And belief is the engine that drives all greatness. The mind does not resist consistency. It surrenders to it. So repetition becomes the key. You cannot speak strength once and expect to be strong. You must flood your subconscious with empowering words until they are no longer words but truths. Until they rise in your behavior. Until they show up in your energy. Until others see in you what you've been telling yourself in private. That is how transformation begins. Not with effort, but with thought. Not with the outer, but with the inner. Speak it long enough, and you begin to live it. Yet the words alone are not enough. They must be charged with emotion. You must feel the truth of what you're saying even before it becomes visible. You must stand in front of the mirror and speak with such conviction that you believe it more than the facts that surround you. That emotional intensity is the spark. It tells your subconscious, this is not a wish, this is a command. When you speak with fire, with heart, with certainty, the mind begins to rewire. It adjusts your posture. It raises your energy. It sharpens your choices. It makes you act like someone who cannot be stopped. And when you combine auto-suggestion with desire, you awaken a force inside you that refuses to be denied. Because desire is the fire, it is the hunger. It is the internal H for something greater, something bigger, something more meaningful. And if you don't feel it yet, you haven't dug deep enough. Every one of us has within a dormant obsession, a dream we haven't fully admitted, a life we haven't given ourselves permission to pursue. That desire is waiting to be unleashed. And when it is, nothing can match its power. A burning desire is not polite. It is not patient. It is not reasonable. It consumes the weak parts of you and leaves only what is strong. Desire begins where comfort ends. It's born when you finally say, enough. Enough living small. Enough waiting. Enough pretending you're satisfied with less. It's the moment you decide to chase what you really want, not what the world tells you is realistic. It's when you choose the path that scares you and excites you at the same time. That's how you know it's right, because it demands more of you. Desire doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't whisper. It roars. It says, I will have this. I must have this. I am willing to give everything for this. And when your desire burns that hot, life begins to move. But desire without action is just fantasy. The kind of desire that changes your life is the one that fuels behavior. You wake up earlier. You work harder. You study more. You focus deeper. You sacrifice things you once thought you needed. Not because someone told you to, but because you can't sleep at night knowing you're not chasing what sets your soul on fire. When you feel that kind of pull, resistance loses its grip. Procrastination dies, fear weakens, because desire becomes stronger than every excuse. And here's what most missing. Desire is not something you wait to feel. It's something you generate. You feed it with vision. You feed it with goals. You feed it by surrounding yourself with people who talk about dreams, not drama, with books that light your mind on fire, with conversations that remind you of who you're becoming, not who you used to be. You stoke the flame every day because you know that desire must be kept alive. Left unattended, it fades. But when you fuel it, it becomes your greatest ally. The person who acts as if nothing stops them is the one whose desire has reached obsession. They don't casually want to succeed. They are possessed by their vision. They don't dabble. They commit. They don't play not to lose. They play to win. And that difference in intensity shows in everything they do, in how they walk, in how they speak, in how they prepare. in how they recover from failure. You can't fake desire. Either you have it or you feed it until it consumes you. And when it does, everything changes. The doors you once knocked on start opening. The opportunities you dreamed about begin showing up. The people you needed appear. Not because of chance, but because your energy shifted. The universe responds to intensity, and burning desire is the strongest signal you can send. It says to life, I'm ready. It says to fear, move aside. It says to the world, I will not stop. And that kind of message cannot be ignored. It echoes. It reverberates. It attracts everything you need to move forward. But the most powerful part is this. Desire makes you unstoppable, not because the journey gets easier, but because quitting becomes impossible. You'd rather face hardship than live one more day betraying your purpose. You'd rather be tired than be average. You'd rather risk it all than regret not trying. That's what burning desire does. It makes anything less than progress feel like pain, and that pain becomes your signal. It reminds you you're alive. It reminds you that your life has meaning. It reminds you that your dreams matter, and they are not waiting for a better time. They are waiting for a bolder you. So you rise with a fire inside. You train your mind with your words. You feed your purpose with your focus. And you move forward like someone who already owns the outcome. That's what it means to act as if nothing stops you. It means you don't negotiate with doubt. You don't apologize for wanting more. You don't water down your goals to make others comfortable. You become the version of yourself who thinks like a winner, speaks like a champion, and moves like destiny is already yours. There is a moment on every journey where everything inside of you will scream for comfort. The road will be longer than you thought, harder than you planned, and lonelier than you ever expected. And it is in that moment, not the easy ones, that your destiny is decided. Because the difference between those who dream and those who achieve is not intelligence or talent. It's persistence. It's the refusal to give in when nothing seems to be working. It's the fire that burns even when the lights go out. It's the voice that says, try again, when the world says, give up. That voice is the most valuable thing you can ever develop. It cannot be bought. It cannot be handed to you. It must be built day by day through effort, discipline, and relentless belief. Most people don't fail because they lack ability. They fail because they quit too soon. Temporary defeat is not final unless you make it so. And it will come. It must come. Life will test your seriousness, will challenge your intentions. It will ask again and again, how badly do you want it? And those who act as if nothing can stop them don't answer with words. They answer with persistence. They show up on the days they feel broken. They keep moving when the path disappears. They work in silence when no one is watching. They don't need a crowd. They don't need applause. They only need the vision of where they're going and the determination to get there no matter what stands in the way. Every setback is a lesson disguised as resistance. If you look deeper, inside every obstacle is a new level of strength waiting to be discovered. Every rejection carries a redirection. Every delay builds patience. Every failure sharpens focus. But only those who persist get to collect these hidden rewards. Quitting stops the learning. It stops the growth. It cuts the line between where you are and where you could have been. And that's what makes persistence so powerful. It's not just about effort. It's about character. It's the silent strength that whispers, keep going, even when your emotions say, turn back. You must train yourself to listen to that whisper, because that is the voice of your higher self, your greater future, your inner greatness calling you forward. And here's what separates the persistent from the passive commitment without condition. If your drive depends on things going right, you'll collapse the moment things go wrong. But if your commitment is anchored in purpose, unshakable, non-negotiable, absolute, then nothing can stop you. Not failure, not fatigue, not fear. You are already decided. You've already chosen your path. You've already burned the bridges behind you. There is no way out but through. And that kind of mental resolve doesn't just change how you face challenges. It changes the very energy you bring to life. The world respects the relentless. It doesn't reward the most gifted. It rewards the most determined. And when you walk with persistence, you send a message to life itself. You can slow me down, but you can't break me. That message starts to shift your outcomes. It creates momentum. And momentum is the closest thing to magic in the journey toward success. Once you have it, it carries you. But to earn it, you must persist through the inertia, the resistance, the uncertainty. You must keep swinging when nothing is connecting. You must keep walking when every muscle begs you to stop. Because the turning point, the real breakthrough, only shows up for those who prove they can endure without visible reward. Every great achiever has walked through deserts where nothing bloomed, where every step felt pointless, where every effort seemed wasted. But they walked anyway. They acted anyway. They persisted anyway. And on the other side of that invisible wall, right past where most people give up, is where the reward lies. The gold is not at the beginning of the mine. It's deep within, protected by layers of rock, sweat, and suffering. Most turn back before they even hear the sound of their dream calling. But those who persist, who refuse to be stopped, get to dig deep enough to touch what others only imagine. And what makes the kind of persistence possible is not just internal strength. It's strategic connection. No one climbs to greatness alone. The most powerful people in the world have one thing in common. They surround themselves with others who amplify their thinking, who stretch their limits, who hold them accountable to their vision. This is the power of the mastermind. It is not just a group of people. It is a mental alliance of energy, belief, and collaboration. When minds come together with a common goal, something electric happens. Ideas evolve faster, faith grows stronger, confidence compounds, and the isolation that weakens so many dreams begins to dissolve. There is something almost supernatural about being in harmony with others who share your purpose. It sharpens your mind. It accelerates your growth. It multiplies your courage. You begin to see yourself not just through your own eyes, but through the eyes of those who believe in you, and that belief becomes armor. It shields you from doubt. It lifts you in moments of weakness. It reminds you that you're not fighting alone. Because when you align yourself with people who are also acting as if nothing can stop them, your entire frequency rises. You begin to operate on a higher level. Not because you changed, but because the environment demanded it. Success is rarely a solo act. While desire and persistence start within, the true leap happens when you share your vision with those who are ready to nurture it. The right partnership can cut years off your journey. The right conversation can ignite breakthroughs you never saw coming. But you must be intentional about who you let into your mind. Not every voice deserves a seat at your table. You must choose to walk with those who feed your strength, not your fear. With those who challenge you to rise, not stay comfortable. Because every relationship either pushes you closer to your vision or pulls you away from it. And the most effective masterminds are not built on hype. They are built on values, shared commitment, mutual growth, unfiltered truth. These alliances are not always comfortable, but they are necessary. They will confront your excuses. They will mirror your habits. They will see potential in you when you've forgotten it yourself. And that kind of mirror is a gift, not a threat. Because when you're building something great, you don't need more comfort. You need more clarity. You need people around you who will not let you settle, who won't applaud your excuses, who see the highest version of you, and won't stop until you see it too. And here's the beautiful part. When you become the kind of person who operates with relentless persistence and intentional connection, others begin to gravitate toward you. Your example becomes your magnet. Your focus becomes attractive. Your energy begins to command a room before you speak a word. And in that moment, you become more than just a dreamer. You become a leader, a force. A presence that reminds others what's possible when someone decides to never back down. You become the living proof of what happens when persistence meets collaboration, when grit meets alignment, when vision meets action. So day after day, you persist. Not out of obligation, but out of passion. You do what needs to be done, not because it's easy, but because you're called to it. You keep showing up, even when it's hard, because something inside you knows the reward is worth every ounce of effort. And you link arms with others who are running in the same direction, who don't flinch at the hard days, who don't retreat when things get messy. Together you climb higher. Together you break through ceilings. Together you make the impossible possible. And through it all, you act as if nothing can stop you. Because when you persist through storms and surround yourself with strength, nothing truly can. Would you like me to continue expanding other parts of a speech or help prepare it for a video or spoken delivery?